Able to see full screen in online? Wait, somebody has joined, I'll just ask them. Hello, good morning, those who are in online. Can you able to see my full screen? Hello? Good morning. Whether able to see full screen? Because here no, I am able to see only half. Okay. See, in this very only it is coming half. It stopped, I think. Okay. we will start today's session. So in last 3 classes we have seen about some of the concepts or the introduction, direct and indirect tax differences, and the benefits of advantages of GST, so many theories. And you can see the summary, like meaning, these are the core area of the GST, like meaning and scope of supply, composite and mixed supplies, and below are the schedule 1, 2 and 3 we have seen in the previous class. So now we will move on to the next topic, which is about the charge of tax including reverse charge. So we will see about this in the section 9. Previously we have seen 7 and 8. Now we are into section 9. That is charge of tax including reverse charge. 5.2.3, the same what is in our material as well. So this charge of tax is about, there are 4 aspects. So whether the transaction is a taxable event, what is the tax rate to be charged. So actually this I will not be able to hear. So suppose if anything, please ping me on chat. So those who are in online, if anything, kindly ping me on chat if there is anything you require. Okay, so if anything, those who are in online, if anything is required, please ping me on Teams. So now we are into the section 9. Section 9 is about the charge of tax, also includes reverse charge. So before going in detail, so I'll go back to my previous slide so you can understand what is meant by normal charge mechanism on levy of GST, which is there in the left side. So what happens generally in normal all cases, you can see the supplier when he supplies the goods or to the receiver. Once receiver receives the goods from the supplier, he makes payment to the supplier, and it includes GST as well. So the supplier, he deposits to the government. So in case of reverse charge mechanism, though the receiver makes payment to the supplier, he also pays the portion of GST. He pays without GST. So while making deposit to the government, he has to pay the GST as well. So whenever you start working on any organization, wherever you work, it is not only the list of items which we received from the supplier, not only that tax portion, you also need to consider if there is any RCM is also there in your organization. If you are taking buying from any supplies against RCM basis, then you need to add those taxes also while making payment to the government. So this is RCM basis. So if you see here, the receiver, he makes payment to the supplier without GST and he deposit the GST portion with government on behalf of the supplier. So this is just opposite to the normal charge and the reverse charge. So we will go now with the detail. Article 265 of the Constitution of India mandates no tax shall be levied or collected except by the authority of law. So before imposing any tax, the transaction it should fall within the ambit of taxable event, and the person on whom the tax is imposed, he also should get covered within the ambit of the charging section. The scope of the taxable event. So we have already seen about what is meaning of the supply. So what is the maximum rate the tax can be levied on supplies? Everything now will be going to study in this section 7. So what in the section 9. So section 9 is about the taxable event, tax rate, what is the collection or levy the person is liable to pay. So now when we go step by step, we will understand in detail what exactly is about the section 9 is. So in section 9, which is levy and collection, we have subsections 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5. So what is subsection 1, which is about the forward charge? So the same which we have seen here, it is about the forward charge, and subsection 2 is about GST not levied. So what is mean by GST not levied? So for some certain products, till the rate has not been fixed by the council, GST council or the government. So that is under the subsection of subsection 2. Then we have subsection 3, which is about the reverse charge. In the reverse charge, we have one more, where the goods are supplied by an unregistered person. Then we have subsection 5, intrastate supply through e-commerce operator. So these all 5 subsections only we are going to see in detail. So once we completed, then we will move on to the composition scheme today. So now we are into subsection 1. So this you can see against that parallelly what is the section has been defined. This is our final study material only. So you can see in the left side the subsection and the section is 9 subsection 1 CGST Act 2017. Parallelly against that same only it is under IGST Act 2017. So wherever you find something like 9 subsection 1 or 5 subsection 1, you should not get confused. It is similar only, but the only difference is the percentage. So we will have a look on this subsection 1. CGST will be levied and collected on all intrastate supplies of goods or services except supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption, and on the value determined under section 15. So what is this section under 15? It is the valuation. So now till now we have not moved on to this topic valuation. It is once we complete time and place of supply, we have separate chapter valuation. So there we can see about section 15, and such rates not exceeding 20% notified by the government on the recommendation of the council and collected in such manner prescribed by the taxable person. So section 9 subsection 1. So you can see the rates here not exceeding 20%. So you can see find parallelly the similar IGST Act. So the everything is same. The IGST will be levied and collected on all interstate. So if you see CGST, this is related to intrastate. IGST is about interstate supplies of goods or services, except supply of alcoholic liquor and the value determined under section 15. And the rates. Audio? So on the Teams group or what? But I think no one has replied, nothing. Oh, WhatsApp or what? Hello, whether your Teams, those who are in online able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So till no audio, what? No. Whether able to hear me? Hello, whether are you all able to hear me now?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Now audible? Don't know what happened. Okay, sorry, I'm not, I couldn't, I thought I was audible. Sure, no problem. So we'll just summarize what I have been told earlier. So we have been seeing this concepts in the last 2-3 classes, like section 7, the meaning and scope of supply, and the taxability of composite and mixed supplies, and the other important 3 schedules. So even the activity without consideration also a supply, and in 2 we have seen about how to identify the transaction, whether to be treated as a supply of goods or supply of services. And 3 is about the transaction neither supply of goods nor supply of services. So this thing we have seen, and introduction of the GST, like difference between direct and indirect tax, and what are the benefits of indirect tax. So few theory parts we have seen. Now today we will see about section 9, which is about the levy and collection of tax. So before you are able to see my screen. Now we are into the charge of tax, including reverse charge. So in this diagram you can understand from by seeing this. So generally when the supplier sells the goods and the receiver buys from the supplier, he makes the payment with the GST, and the supplier finally deposits to the government. But in case of reverse charge, what happens? Whoever buy from the supplier, so say for example, I am selling the goods to Mr. A, so Mr. A will pay GST, so that is reverse charge mechanism. So now we will move on to the detail about section 9. So Article 265 of the Constitution of India mandates no tax shall be levied or collected except authority of law. So in this, I'll just give the summary what is in this charge of tax including reverse charge. There are 4 important aspects are there, like taxable event, tax rate, collection or levy, and the person liable to pay. Who is liable to pay the tax? These are the 4 important aspects. From once we complete this section 9, you will have some idea about so what is the levy and collection, if the transaction is from the supplier to the buyer. So if you are able to identify some transactions, you will also will understand so who is liable to pay the GST. So now we'll go in deep about levy and collection. There are 5 subsections are there: forward charge, GST not levied, reverse charge, and the reverse charge where goods are supplied by unregistered person, and the intrastate supply through e-commerce operator. So wherever you find it, when you go through the indirect tax, either in inter or even in final also, you will find the similar or the parallel sections, like section 9 subsection 1. This is as per the CGST Act 2017. So say parallelly what section you will be seeing? Section 5 subsection 1. So you can see what is the difference. This is our final study material only, the screenshot which you are seeing. So to show you what is the similar sections are there. So here, as per CGST Act, the only difference is the CGST will be levied and collected on all intrastate supplies of goods or services or both, except supply of alcoholic liquor for human consumption. So on the value determined under section 15. So section 15, when we will be moving into section 15, post we complete time of supply, place of supply, we have a separate chapter, valuation. So in valuation you will understand so what are the items we need to consider for GST purpose. So that will be under section 15, at such rates not exceeding 20%. Here you are seeing about not exceeding 20%, notified by the government on the recommendation of council and collected in such manner prescribed and shall be paid by the taxable person. Similarly, for the section 5 subsection 1, IGST will be levied and collected on all intrastate supplies. So it is applicable for all interstate supplies of goods or services or both, except supply of alcoholic liquor. So same terms only. So the rates, it shall not exceed 40% notified by the government on the recommendation of the council. And one important point which you have to learn from this IGST Act is levied on import of goods. So for all import which we are doing, it is not will fall under, it will not fall under CGST, but you can check in all bill of entries the transactions where whenever we do import of goods, in that case IGST will be levied. So next one is, so we have seen in this diagram like forward charge. So forward charge is nothing but regular normal transactions only. What is there in inter and intrastate we have seen. So now we are into section 9 subsection 2 where GST not levied. So till date the GST is not yet to be levied. So what are the items are there? Petroleum crude, high speed diesel, motor spirit commonly known as petrol, natural gas and aviation turbine fuel. So similarly for IGST also it is same. So now it is not much we need to see in this section 9 subsection 2. Now we are into section 9 subsection 3. So the government will decide who is liable to pay GST under reverse charge. So these are from 9.3. It is very important. We have to see transaction wise now. So section 9 subsection 3 is about, so who is liable to pay the GST. There are some list of transactions are there. So government will decide who has to pay the GST. So in both are same. So either you can say 9 subsection 3 of CGST or section 5 subsection 3 of IGST. So now we'll go one by one on this section 3 subsection section 9 subsection 3. You can refer our study materials. So we can see what are the transactions, who is liable to pay the GST here. So the description, we can see the goods and who are the suppliers. If that is the case, who is the recipient of supply, the person who is liable to pay the GST. So here starts with the goods. Cashew nuts not shelled or peeled. If the supplier is the agriculturist, then who is liable to pay the GST? So any registered person, the recipient of supply, the person who is liable to pay tax, who is the recipient. Same way BD wrapper leaves, again if it is the supplier is agriculturist, then the registered person. So same tobacco leaves, and we have essential oils other than citrus fruits. In this case, the supplier of goods may be any unregistered person. If he is any unregistered person, so the registered person has to pay the GST. So you have to remember all those goods like cashew nuts, BD wrapper leaves, tobacco leaves, essential oils, silk yarn. So any person who manufactures silk yarn from raw silk or silkworm cocoons for supply of silk yarn. So the registered person has to pay the GST. Same in case of raw cotton. It is subsection 4A. And the supply of lottery. So if there is any supply of lottery, state government, union territory or any local authority. So if they are the supplier, then who has to pay the tax? Lottery distributor or selling agent. So it's only regulations and the act is there. And in the goods related, used vehicles, seized, confiscated goods. In that case, if the supplier is the central government, state government, then any registered person has to pay the GST. And the private sector lending certificate. In that case, either any registered person can pay, and in case of metal scrap, again any registered person. So now we have seen in the section 9 subsection 3 about supply of goods. So you can easily remember the supply of goods like cashew nuts, BD tobacco, silk yarn, raw cotton, lottery, vehicles, and PSLC, that is priority sector lending certificate, and metal scrap. So you can easily identify the goods. And the next one is about the supply of services. Previously we have seen about the goods. Now we are into supply of services. So what are the services are there, and who is liable to pay the GST here? So this concept of GST, so everybody, suppose if you are working, you might have seen in your companies, or if you are in firm, you might have understood about this GTA. So which is Goods Transport Agency. Even in our questions, previous year question papers also, you might have come across this GTA term, and repeatedly, at least to one line, they will definitely ask for this GTA related. So what is the first service? Supply of service in respect of transportation of goods by road. So if there is a transportation of goods by road, then we have to see who is the supplier. So if the supplier is GTA, who has not paid central tax. If they are not going to pay the GST, then it has to be paid by the recipient of the service. So if we are going to avail, then our organization has to pay the GST to the department. So there is some exceptional cases are there. RCM shall not apply to services provided by a GTA by way of transport of goods in goods carried by road to a department or establishment of the central or state government or union territory. So if this type of services are undertaken by any companies kind of, then they have to pay the GTA to the government. But if the same services taken by the department or that is central or state government, so they are not required to pay the GST. So these are the exceptional cases are there, like local authority, governmental agencies, so have taken the registration for the purpose of deducting tax and not for making taxable supply of goods or services. So this we will be seeing in our TDS chapter. So now who are the recipient of service liable to pay the GST? Any factory registered under or governed by the Factories Act 1948, any society registered under Societies Registration Act or cooperative society, or any person registered under GST. So but still they have to pay the GST to the government. Any body corporate established, any partnership firm, any casual taxable person located in the taxable authority. So if you see the recipient of service, so up from A till G, so if they are taking the services related to goods transport agency, so they are supposed to pay the GST on behalf of this supplier of service. So they will not pay the GST. So we have to, even the service also we have to make the payment plus GST also to the department. So the next service is services provided by an individual advocate, including senior advocate or firm of advocates by way of legal services. So this is related to legal services. You can remember in this way, the first one is related to GTA, the second one is related to advocate related. So the advocate including senior advocate or firm of advocates by way of legal services directly or indirectly. So here the meaning of legal service is there, that is any service provided in relation to advice, consultancy, assistance in any manner and includes representational services before any court. So in that case, the business entity which is located in the taxable territory, they are supposed to pay the GST. So who are the, if the supplier of services, individual advocate, senior advocate or firm of advocates, so they will not pay the GST. So we have to pay the GST. For these are called the RCM. So we only avail the service and we only have to pay the GST. So the next one is services supplied by an arbitral tribunal to the business entity. So the business entity similar like a advocate only. Then services provided by way of sponsorship to any body corporate or partnership firm. So again the body corporate or partnership firm located in the taxable territory have to pay the GST. Then services supplied by the central, state government or local authority, excluding the renting of immovable property and the services by the Department of Posts and Ministry of Railways, and the services in relation to aircraft or a vessel inside or outside the presence of a port or an airport, transport of goods or passengers. So the business entity will have to pay the GST. So 5A is also similar, like supplied by the services by the central government, state government by way of renting of immovable property, then the person registered under CGST Act has to pay the GST. So again it is immovable property other than residential dwelling. So other than residential purposes. So again the registered person. So 5B, 5C. So section starts from 5. So it is related to the central and the services provided by the central or the state government and mostly related to the immovable property. Again 5B is also TDR we call it. It is transfer of development rights or floor space index. So suppose if we have our society in one corner and we want to develop the other space, so that we call it as a transfer of development rights. So if I have one area and the other area is still underdeveloped, so to develop that particular area, I will transfer the rights so that that area will be developed by the developer or the promoter. So that is, so the promoter has to pay the GST. Same long-term lease of land. Then we have services supplied by a director of a company. So this is very important. So services supplied by a director of a company or a body corporate. Then the director is providing the service. The company will pay the GST. So we have so many services. So always in GST, more than goods, services is some we need to focus more because we have to learn lot in relating to the services. So it is next service is about the insurance agent. So service supplied by insurance agent to any person carrying on the insurance business, then the person carrying on insurance business have to pay the GST. So now whatever you are saying in the recipient of service, so whoever is receiving the service have to pay the GST here. So the services supplied by a recovery agent to a banking company. So in many banking organization, to collect the dues, they will have the recovery agent. So for that recovery agent, the banking company, the service is provided by the recovery agent, but who has to pay the GST? The banking company or financial institution or a non-banking financial company. Then we have services by a music composer, photographer, artist, by way of transfer or permitting the use or enjoyment of copyright. So the music composer, if he is providing the service, the music company has to pay the GST. Then from 9A till 9 and 9A similar. So transfer, that is services by an author by way of transfer or permitting the use of enjoyment of copyright relating to original literary works to a publisher. In that case, publisher located in the taxable territory has to pay the GST. So there are some exceptional cases there. The provision of RCM shall not apply. So wherever exceptional cases are there, please have a look on those as well. The author has taken the registration and filed declaration in Annexure 1 within the time limit with the jurisdictional CGST or SGST. He exercises the option to pay the central tax. So suppose if he has already registered and paying the central GST, in that case the author himself may pay instead of the publisher pay the GST. So we have still few services, so we'll have a look on these services quickly. Because these are fully theory only, there is no examples or no problems. So only when we move into exempted notification on supply of services, this will add few things, and then we have some examples are there we can work out. So now you need to remember about if any question asked for section 9 subsection 3, then we need to bifurcate that section 9 subsection 3 into two. One is for goods, one is for services. If it is for goods, the previous one like which we have seen, the cashew nuts, BD wrapper leaves, oils, then the certificates, those things you can list it out quickly. And then who is liable to pay the GST also you can have a look, because it's not much complicated. Mostly it is by the person who is taking the service only. So next one, if it is related to services, you need to remember all these services. Like now we are into supply of services by the members of overseeing committee to RBI. It is related to RBI. So the RBI has to pay the GST. In case of there is some separate committee which is formed by the RBI, that is overseeing committee is there. If that from that committee, if RBI is taking some services, so the RBI is liable to pay the GST. So services supplied by individual direct selling agents other than body corporate or limited liability partnership, then the banking company or non-banking company has to pay GST. Then we have business facilitator. Again, the banking company has to pay the GST. So please remember these items and all, because in exercise we have to solve with these terms. Then services provided by an agent of business correspondent to business correspondent. So the business correspondent has to pay the GST, though it is taken by services taken by the agent of business correspondent. Then we have security services provided to a registered person. So in that case, what are the services? We have to see these services shall not subject to the following recipient. You can have a look on the department or establishment of central, state government, local authority. And very important one, registered person paying tax under section 10. So in that case, the registered person who is located in the taxable authority has to pay the GST. Then services provided by renting of any motor vehicle designed to carry passengers where the cost of fuel included in the consideration charged from the service recipient. So in that case, if the service provided by a person other than the body corporate, then any body corporate located in the taxable territory has to pay the GST here. I think this is the last one. Services of lending securities. So what type of it is service? It is related to lending securities, and the services provided by a person who deposits the securities. In that case, the borrower has to pay the GST. The person who borrows the securities under the scheme through an approved intermediary of SEBI. So they have to pay the GST. So in services, we have serial number from starting from 1 till 16 we have. So all these services, at least not into detail, like remember, like renting of immovable property, GTA, if it is related to postal, that is railway departments, postal, then you can see who is the person liable to pay the GST. Otherwise, there is nothing complicated here. Only you need to remember the list of services. So it's more theoretical. So I'm not forcing much, but you need to remember the list of services here. So still we have few only 2 additional services are there. Those are service supplied who is located in non-taxable territory to any person other than non-taxable online recipient. So any person who is located in the non-taxable territory. So in that case, who is liable to pay the GST? Person located in the taxable territory other than non-taxable online recipient. So here in this is related to IGST. So that's why you are seeing here, if the person is in non-taxable territory, who will be liable to pay the GST. So any person who is located in the taxable territory other than non-taxable online recipient, so they have to pay the GST. So the non-taxable online recipient means who are all under this non-taxable online recipient. So the government, local authority, government authority, or individual who is receiving the online information, that is OIDAR. This also we will be seeing separately, like online information and database access or retrieval services. So in relation to any purpose other than commerce, trade located in the taxable territory. Then we have governmental authority which is set up by the Act of Parliament with 90% or more participation by way of equity or control to any function. So to carry out the function. So then we have services supplied by a person located in non-taxable by way of transportation of goods by a vessel from a place outside India up to the customs station. So in that case, who is liable to pay the GST? So the importer who is located in the taxable territory is liable to pay the GST. So in section 9 subsection 3 we have to remember three main things. So that it is classified into goods, services, and the last one which we have seen, these 2 points is related to IGST. Why IGST? Because the supplier who provides the services, he is located in the non-taxable territory. So in that case, we will not be able to identify who is liable to pay the GST. That is why there is a separate additional 2 points in 9 subsection 3. So IGST payable is, so if a person is located in non-taxable territory and if he is providing the transportation of goods by a vessel outside India and till customs station, then the importer has to pay the GST. The importer located in the taxable territory. So now we have section 9 subsection 4. So section 9 subsection 3 is about the who decides the GST. So government will decide who has to pay the GST. That is in section 9 subsection 3. Here it is about section 9 subsection 4. This is also reverse charge only, but the difference is the supplies are made by unregistered person. If you are buying from any unregistered person, then in that case also you are to pay the GST. So now we will see few things. We have supply of goods or services till the date of issuance of completion certificate or first occupation, whichever is earlier. So if you are buying any land like other services by way of grant of development rights, long term lease of land, so it is related to the floor space index we call it, so which constitute shortfall from the minimum value of goods or services or both required to be purchased by a promoter. So if the supplier is an unregistered person, so the promoter has to pay the GST. So it is related to the construction only. So then we have one more, that is promoter for construction of project in a financial year. So by the or part of the financial year till the date of issuance of completion certificate or first occupation, whichever is earlier, so the promoter has to pay the GST. So these are the then capital goods, again the promoter has to pay the GST. So section 9 subsection 4, you can see here where the supplies made by unregistered person, then we need to pay the tax if you are purchasing something from the unregistered person, either goods, services or both received from the unregistered person, pay the tax on reverse charge basis. So on if they are so unregistered person definitely not going to pay the GST. So we have to pay GST. So till this most of the services are covered. If services are completed, you need to remember, please remember all those points. There is no separate examples and all. So the questions may ask whether who is liable to pay the GST. So then last one is e-commerce. So in this you can see the intrastate supply through e-commerce operator. So in e-commerce operator means, so before going into this e-commerce operator, you can see who are called the e-commerce operator. Person, any person who owns, operates or manages digital or electronic facility or platform for electronic commerce. So suppose you are ordering any goods or any thing which you want to purchase through Amazon, Flipkart, they are called the e-commerce operator. So in this e-commerce operator, who is liable to pay the GST? So the government is empowered to notify the categories of services, person responsible for payment of taxes, neither be the supplier nor the recipient, but e-commerce operator through whom the supply is effected, they are liable to pay the GST. So this is very important here in the e-commerce operator. So who are called the e-commerce operator? So they are like our Amazon. If you are ordering any goods in Amazon or Flipkart, these are the e-commerce business. So in that case, who is liable to pay the GST? So the GST has to be paid who takes the supply. You can see here the e-commerce operator whom the supply is effected. So if it is taken by any business or any third person, they are liable to pay the GST. Then you can see the definitions. Electronic commerce means what? Supply of goods or services or both, including digital products over digital or electronic network. Then e-commerce operator definition is there. Then we have where an electronic that is e-commerce operator does not have a physical presence in the taxable territory, any person representing the e-commerce operator shall be liable to pay tax. So the person may not be in the physical presence in the taxable territory, means he is not within India. The e-commerce person may be outside India. So with who is liable to pay the tax? So the agent who on behalf of the e-commerce operator who takes that activity and completes that transaction, he is liable to pay the GST. So the person representing the e-commerce operator is liable to pay GST. So then next to last one is where an e-commerce operator does not have physical presence in the taxable territory and does not have representative in the said territory. So in that case, e-commerce operator shall appoint a person in the taxable territory for the purpose of paying tax, and the person is liable to pay tax. These last two points very important here. So you may not be knowing if he is not within the taxable territory. So the e-commerce operator may not be within India. He may be outside India. So you will not know who is going to pay the GST. So there will be a person who is the representative of e-commerce operator. He is liable to pay the GST. So then the next one is, so the e-commerce operator, he is not in the taxable territory and he doesn't have the representative in the said territory. So in these two scenarios, if there is no representative also and no physical presence, that is e-commerce operator is not there within the taxable territory, in that scenario he has to definitely appoint a person in the taxable territory for the purpose of paying tax, and that person has to pay the GST. So these are very important in the e-commerce thing, because these 2 points will continue in all the other areas. Wherever you find e-commerce, this last 2 points will be there definitely. So on the definition of e-commerce, you have to remember it. So then there are other services. So these are other services, means e-commerce means not only Amazon, Flipkart, these things. E-commerce includes Ola, which you book through Ola, Uber. These are all also covers under this e-commerce business. So the services by way of transportation of passengers, radio taxi, motor car, maxi cab, motorcycle, except omnibus. So these are the services that are specified as an e-commerce operator. Then transportation of passengers by an omnibus, except person supplying such service through e-commerce is a e-commerce operator is a company. Then we have cloud kitchen. These are all coming under this e-commerce. So this is just the what are the services by the e-commerce operators are there. Then services by way of housekeeping, plumbing, carpenting, these are except person supplying service through e-commerce operator is liable for registration. Then supply of restaurant services. So in that restaurant services, you have specified premises. So what does mean by specified premises? Providing hotel accommodation service, there is a declared tariff is there. So if it is above 7,500 per unit per day or equivalent. So these are the services are specified under e-commerce operator. So apart from these 2 points, these are just an examples for you. What are the e-commerce services? So you may not be knowing apart from this Amazon, Flipkart. So apart from this, you need to remember about this, whatever transactions which we are booking through Ola or Uber, where we have the cloud kitchens. So those are also form part of e-commerce. Then we have okay. So that is reason to know what that text book. March 24. So you don't have Omni there? Okay, I'll check and confirm this one. What is, whether it is included or not. Sure, I will check this omnibus topic. So then we will actually the same service related only it is continuing there. So before moving into this services, before I start with that services, we'll see some 2-3 examples what is there in the material. So you will get some idea what we have learnt now in service related. So you can come to move on to the page number, because apart from this section 9, there are exempted goods and exempted services are there. Those are also very important here, that is goods exempt from tax and goods exempt from services. These are exempted goods and below are the exempted services. I'll see. So goods, at least easy to remember what are the goods exempted from GST, and we have exempted services. So exempted services, if you see, I think there should be minimum 80 or 90 are there. So I will I will move on to some exercise problems. So you will you will have some idea why we want to learn about this exempted services. So there is one illustration number 3, page number 86. Because continuously I am into this the services and this section 9, it's fully of theory area. So instead of that, just for some relax, you can have a look on this service problem. So you will have some idea why we want to learn about those service related. So illustration 3. So but still we have not seen about the exempted services completely. Before going into the theoretical area, we will see some 2-3 problems. We will understand why we want to go in depth into the exempted services. So the first illustration 3, we will see whether following services are exempted or not. So the first one is Sri Jagadish ji, a priest, charged 21,000 from Mr. X carrying out the rituals of his marriage ceremony. Then we have rent of, okay, first we will see what is the priest, how much he is charging. 21,000 from Mr. X. For what purpose? The rituals of his marriage ceremony. So you can see the remarks also, entry number 13. So you have to go back to entry number 13. So here if you see the services by a person by way of conduct of any religious ceremony. So in that it is as per this religious ceremony, in the under this particular entry number, the marriage rituals which the priest has conducted, so that is also getting exempted. So there are 2 things in the services which is under entry number 13. One is religious ceremony and other one is renting of prisons. So we'll see in depth this renting, but we'll complete first that illustration number 3. So why we want to remember all such services, we will first understand from that illustration. That 21,000, it is completely exempted only. If it is any kind of this religious ceremony itself, it is saying it is fully exempted. They will charge definitely, yes, but there is no limit actually. Then rent of 19,000 charged for letting out community hall in a temple premises for marriage ceremony. So now we can see in that, so we actually it is a rent of the, how much it is? It is 19,000, and it is let out for letting out the community hall in a temple premises for the marriage ceremony purpose. So in that case, there is no exemption here. And third one is temple provides a room. We will see again in this entry number 13 in detail, but please have a look and understand it. Temple provides room in the presence of the temple. So actually here it is not in detail in interstage the presence, but if you see in the final study material, they will give in detail about what is the presence. So within the area of the temple, so whatever how much area the temple is there, and some community halls, everything will call it as a presence. So the temple provides room in the presence of the temple, and the rent is 750 per day to the pilgrims. So in that case, so when you see this 750 per day, you will not understand this exemption here, whether it is exempted or whether it is taxable. That's why we need to remember this entries here. So now we'll go back to the entry number 13. So the renting of presence of a religious place for a general public owned or managed by an entity registered as a charitable or religious trust, or a trust of an institution registered under section 10 subsection 23C of said. Nothing in this entry of this exemption shall apply to renting of rooms charges 1,000 or more per day, and renting of premises, community halls, kalyan mandapam or open area and the like, where the charges are 10,000 or more per day, and the renting of shops or other spaces for business or commerce, where the charges are 10,000 or more per month. So in these cases only we have the exemption where charges are 1,000. This exemption shall apply to the renting where the charges 1,000 or more per day, and the renting of premises, community halls and the kalyan mandapam and the like, where the charges are 10,000 or more. Only then we have to pay the only then the GST is applicable. So in our particular illustration, it is 750 per day. So within the limit, so the it is exempted from GST. So that's why we need to have a look on all these services. So there are, I think, something around 80 or 90 services are there. So even if you are not able to remember everything, at least once in a day, if you see here, these are exempted services. We have bifurcation is there. So what are the different types of services? So based on that types of services, we can remember the what are the services exempted and how much is exempted, we can remember. So I'll just show you where you can see it. Place of supply, time of supply. Okay. Yeah, services are what? Yeah, yes, I will definitely, because today you have already seen lot of under reverse charge itself multiple services, right? So that's why I have not taken into the services, but services we have definitely the important services are there that I will share you, because yes, I can agree. I agree and I can understand. I will definitely share you the important services. Mostly will be the education, agriculture, hospitality. This there will be definitely some question will be there for that too, particularly agriculture related. So we'll see that as well. Yes. So before this, I think. See, we have so many like 80 to 90 services, right? So all these services, they have bifurcated into charitable and religious, agricultural. Yeah, in the material, the previous one which we have seen, it is in the sequential numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 in that order. So the order is in the sequence. So from here you can easily take, if it is healthcare services, then we need to study about service related to entry number 46, 73 and 74. So this all will be under healthcare related. If it is agricultural related services, then these all entry numbers are very important. We need to go through all these entry numbers. Then educational services, we have 66 and 80. So frequently the questions has been asked from this agricultural related, healthcare and the educational services, and artist related also are there. So that also we will have a look. But how to remember easily what are the entry number and the amount, the maximum limit, I will share you on our groups, so you can have a look, and any doubt please reach me. So like why so from this illustration you would have got some idea, so why we have to go through all those entry numbers. So here it is related to the entry number 13. So now if you see the next one is related to entry illustration 4. This illustration 4 is about fees charged for yoga camp conducted by a charitable trust, and we have amount charged by the business correspondent, services provided to the rural branch, and we have amount charged by cord blood bank for the preservation of stem cells, amount charged for service provided by the commentator to a recognized sports body. So how we will understand, so what are the services are there? So only if we see all those entry numbers. So if you see in this entry number, we'll know that if it is fees which are charged for yoga camp purpose, then it is exempted as per entry number 1. So we need to remember all those services same way till 73. Then the last one, service provided by the commentator to the recognized sports body only, there it is not an exempted service. So we'll have a look all these entry numbers, and then we will try to solve these problems. So we will see particularly this performing classical dance, right? So it is entry number 78 and 80. So first let me share about the services numbers and the maximum exemption limits and everything. Then we will come back to these problems. Sure. So now shall we start with the composition scheme or need a break? So okay, after post break we will have a look on the composition scheme. So 10 minutes, 11 o'clock we'll connect back. Sure. So those who are in online, after 11 o'clock we'll connect for the composition scheme. So we'll start with the composition scheme now. So we'll not take much time because these are very simple one only. So generally before going into our material, just a simple background of this composition scheme. So composition scheme means we have under registration, we have regular registration and composition registration also. So what is under composition registration? Because of the it is for the benefit for the small business, so that for the who is starting new business, so it helps for the tax saving and easy compliances and all. So that's why the composition scheme has come into as a separate registration. So in before into our study material in depth, this is some just a simple background of it. Business which supply goods through e-commerce operator, that is not possible in this composition scheme, and the composition dealer, he cannot issue tax invoice, he has to issue bill of supply. Then he cannot opt for the composition scheme, the manufacturer of ice cream, pan masala or tobacco, and he is not eligible to collect the TCS, and he is not required to maintain the records, and he is not eligible to avail the input tax credit of GST, and he has to pay from his own pocket. So no online trading dealers, and not able to, he is not eligible to do the export business as well. So before into that, we'll see how bill of supply and these things. So you can see here the right side is the tax invoice. So this is for the normal registration. Sorry, left one. What happened? So he paid less tax. Suppose if I registered under normal and you are under composition scheme, you are not eligible to take the ITC, right? But what is the benefit is, if I have to pay GST to the department for that particular this manufacturing, say 12% or 9%, some 28%, but still you can pay as per the section prescribed one. If you are the manufacturer, composition dealer can pay 6% tax, 5% tax. So there you get the benefit. Yes, lesser tax. So here it is the tax invoice on the left side. It's for the normal registration. So if you are going to be the composition dealer, then you have to raise not as tax invoice, as a bill of supply. And now we'll move on to our study material. Those who are in online, are you able to see my screen? I am in the study material page number 594.
No, ma'am.
So in online, whether you able to see?
No, ma'am.
But I am not able, here this also not visible here. So what happened suddenly here? So I am not able to hear. Can anyone ping whether able to? Point 2.5. Though those who are in online, whether you able to see my screen. Now I opened material directly in this system only. Here you will not be able to see. Don't know what happened here. How it has come? So you have, I will tell the page number. I think only PPT I can share. I'm not able to share this one. No problem. We will have a look on this. Okay, so the summary which we have seen is the composition scheme. In the material also it is same. It is designed for small taxpayers. Turnover is up to prescribed limit. So we have to see what is that term prescribed limit. The objective is to bring simplicity, ease compliance, and burden and reduce cost of compliance for the small taxpayers. Yeah, there's some problem is there, not able to hear. Page number 94, sir. Page number is different in yours, over 101, and okay. That means yours may be latest, I think. The one which I am directly open from this our site, I am seeing page number 94 only. So that latest is not uploaded here, sir. That is in our site. Okay, this one is latest one. Okay. Okay. So we will see from the, I am not sure, here you have to see the material only. So the composition levy is for the small taxpayers and the turnover is up to prescribed limit. So the turnover prescribed limit we will see below. Then the objective of this composition levy is mainly for the simplicity, ease compliance burden, and to reduce the cost for the small taxpayers. And that this is optional. We either you can go for registering as a normal registration, or if you want you can opt for the composition scheme. It essentially provides provides for a turnover tax regime for the taxpayers, less compliance here. And as an eligible person opting to pay tax, instead of paying tax on every invoice at a specified rate, pay tax at a prescribed percentage of his turnover. If you see in this screen itself, where I have moved to, in this right side you can see 5%, 12% tax rates are there. So instead of going into multiple tax rates, here is saying the prescribed a specified rate, you can pay tax at the prescribed percentage of turnover. So what are the advantages are there? Here we have less compliance and the limited tax liability and the high liquidity, as tax are levied at lower rate. So here we have the lower rate of tax. So what are the disadvantages of composition scheme? I have seen few minutes back that you can't claim the ITC, and e-commerce he can't do that business. Same here, the limited territory of business and no ITC available to the composition dealers, and the taxpayer not eligible to supply non-taxable goods under GST such as alcohol and goods through e-commerce portal, and no ITC under composition scheme, which will lead to increase in the cost. So he will not be, when he purchase the material, he will be paying the GST. So what will happen when he sell the material? He will raise more cost to the product. So these are the disadvantages under composition scheme. So we have seen section 9, which is for levy and collection of tax. Now we are into section 10, which is composition levy. So here the important subsections is not there. Okay. So the composition levy under GST section 10 is about, so we have supply of goods and the restaurant services. So what are the locations also there? The Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, Tripura, Uttarakhand, and the threshold limit is 75 lakhs. If the person is, if the registered person's aggregate turnover the preceding financial year, if that does not exceed the threshold limit of 75 lakhs, so he is not, then he will fall under the category of composition scheme. So the same for other states, it is 1.5 crores. Then we have the person is allowed to opt for the composition scheme in the current financial year if the turnover of the preceding financial year does not exceed. So that if he is a manufacturer and a trader allowed to supply of services with supply of goods or restaurant service, then higher of the following we need to consider. It is both service and manufacturing is there. The last one is for supply of service other than restaurant services. So it is, the threshold limit is 50 lakhs. So now when you see when we start work on the problems, then you will not forget about this threshold limit. So the tax point here is, if he is a manufacturer of ice cream and edible rice and pan masala, tobacco, aerated water and bricks, fly ash bricks and the building bricks, earthen or roofing tiles, he is not eligible for the composition scheme. So they may ask what are the goods the manufacturer who is not eligible for the composition scheme. That time we need to write all those manufacturing items. Then the value of exempt supply of service by way of extending deposits, loans or advances is represented by way of interest or discount shall not account into for the determining the value of turnover in a state or union territory. Then we have, in this you can see the rates, GST rates. So if you are a manufacturer, then your GST is 1%. 1% means 0.5% is for CGST and 0.5% is for SGST. If you are registered under composition scheme, and if you are doing trading business, in that case your GST rate is 1%. That is also again 0.5% CGST and 0.5% SGST. Then restaurant services, it is 2.5 and 2.5, and other than restaurant services it is 6%. So this GST rates sometimes you will get in the question paper, so otherwise need to remember this GST rates. So here we have section 10 subsection 2. So what is under section 10 subsection 2? Restriction on the supplier of goods and restaurant services opting for composition scheme. So what are the restrictions are there? If you are supplying goods and doing some restaurant services, so he should not engage in the supply of services up to certain limit, and supply up to certain limit as mentioned, the supply of services allowed. He is not engaged making any supply of goods or services not leviable to tax. He is not engaged in making interstate outward supplies. And the last one, next one is through e-commerce operator. He is not engaged to making any supply of services through e-commerce. He is not a manufacturer of notified goods, and he is neither a casual taxable person nor resident taxable person. So when you start applying in the problems these conditions, then you will understand what exactly it is given here and how we are going to interpret these terms. So now that's why I'm just going through all those terms here. Then in the tax point, the registered person not eligible to opt the scheme unless all registered persons to opt pay tax under the scheme. That is, all registered persons having same PAN must opt for the composition scheme. Then we have okay, so section 2A is also similar. Yes, here the important which actually required to solve the problems, here it starts. Aggregate turnover. So what is meant by aggregate turnover? Because here we are seeing about the threshold limit of 1.5 crores, 75 lakhs and these things. So what does 1.5 crore means? What are the items which are included in the aggregate turnover? So all taxable supplies excluding the value of inward supplies, tax is payable by a person on reverse charge basis, and we have exempt supplies, so excluding exempt services. So in our final material it is very simple. So I will just share you the screen. Yes. Can have a look on this. So what aggregate turnover includes and what aggregate turnover excludes. The value of exported goods or services, the exempted goods, interstate supplies between distinct persons, and supply on account and on behalf of principal. So these are the aggregate turnover includes, and the right side is aggregate turnover excludes. So it does not include the inward supplies. Recipient is required to pay tax, and the CGST, SGST, Union Territory, IGST, compensation cess, these are not included in the aggregate turnover. And another term which very important one is aggregate turnover shall include the value of supplies made by such person from the first day of April of a financial year up to the date when he becomes liable for registration under this act, but shall not include the value of exempt supply of services. So here aggregate turnover, suppose I started my business in the month of I started business 1st April and I apply the registration, I applied it in the month of 1st of July. So in that scenario, the threshold limit of aggregate turnover, from which period it starts. So so that we need to understand from this particular paragraph, that is aggregate turnover include value of supplies made by such person from the first day of April of a financial year up to the date when he becomes liable for registration under this act. Then last one is related to the purpose of determining the tax payable by a person. The expression turnover in state or union territory shall not include supplies from the first day of April of a financial year up to the date when such person becomes liable for registration under this act. Second one, exempt supply of services provided by way of extending deposits, loans or advances. So what are the lapse of options there? Person not eligible to collect tax and penalty in case of wrongfully availing the scheme. So we will see with the problem, then we will come back to the theory areas. So there is one problem here. So you can see, so previously what we understood, like the threshold limit is 2. One is 75 lakhs for special category states and the others are 1.5 crores. Then for supply of services, so other than restaurant services, it is 50 lakhs. So based on this, so how much you understood from the composition scheme, we will see it here. Mr. Ritesh of Assam provides following information for the preceding financial year 23-24. You are required to find out aggregate turnover for the purpose of eligibility of composition scheme. See, there are multiple transactions he is doing. So we need to understand whether he is eligible for the composition scheme and determine whether he is eligible for composition scheme or not. So what is the first transaction here? Value of taxable outward supplies out of above 10 lakhs was in the course of interstate transactions. So that's why the definition of aggregate turnover is important. So whether we need to add 10 lakhs or not, so this types of confusions will not arise. Then value of exempt supplies. which include 30 lakhs received as interest on loans and advances. So if you see, that is 70 lakhs is there. So 70 lakhs is for exempt supplies. So whether in the aggregate turnover the exempt supplies is included or not, so we will see it. Then value of inward supplies on which he is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. So inward supplies required to pay tax under reverse charge will whether it will be forming part of aggregate turnover or not, we should see. Then last one is value of exports. So he is doing these many activities are there. So we need to first find out the aggregate turnover. Then we need to see whether it is fallen under prescribed limit or not. So we'll see here. So value of taxable outward supplies. So value of taxable outward supplies is all taxable supplies including interstate. So we'll have to see the definition for the aggregate turnover. Okay. So all taxable supplies, exempt supplies. So see here, the aggregate turnover means you can see the definition of aggregate turnover, or you can refer this one as well. So aggregate turnover means all taxable supplies are there, excluding the value of inward supplies. Then we have exempt supplies. So exempted supplies which exclude extending deposits, loans or advances. It also in aggregate turnover we need to add exports of goods and services or both. Then we also have the interstate supplies. So these lines only it is given here. So taxable outward supplies 75, yes. Then value of exempt supplies, so there we are excluding the 30 lakhs of interest on loans and advances. This is not forming part of the aggregate turnover. So from 70 lakhs you need to reduce this 30 lakhs. So we get 40 lakhs. Then last one is value of inward supplies. He is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. So if any inward supplies under reverse charge, it will not form part of your aggregate turnover. So inward supplies, tax is payable by a person on reverse charge basis. So we are not considering the inward supplies. He is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. So it is 0 here. Then value of exports. So value of exports is 7 lakhs. So the aggregate turnover comes to 122 lakhs, means which is less than 1.5 crore. So we can advise he is eligible to file under composition scheme. So I will share another few examples, then we will come back to the theory part now. So whether you are those who are in online able to see the picture, so see my PPT now. So now PPT has come, sir. Okay. So we'll see some few illustrations. So it will give more idea how much you have understood in the composition scheme. So we'll see solve this first problem. Mr. R, a registered person at Delhi, in the business of selling goods relating to interior decoration. In the composition scheme, first you need to understand whether business of selling goods or services. So here it is selling goods. Okay. So we first one we need to see is whether he is dealing in goods or services. So here in the first line itself it is mentioned he is dealing in selling goods under the firm name Mrs. R. He has opted composition scheme for the financial year 22-23. His turnover for the current year it is 80 lakhs and he is expected to achieve 130 lakhs. So if generally if it is goods, we are very concepts clear that it should be 1.5 crores. 1 minute. So from this it is clear, for current financial year his business's turnover is 80 lakhs and he expected to achieve 130 lakhs in the financial year 23-24. So what is our point? If it is not going to reach 1.5 crores, so we under assumption still he is eligible for composition scheme. So discuss whether Mrs. Rajibir and Sons can still enjoy the benefits of composition scheme in the financial year 23-24. If it is 23-24, we can assume it is 24-25, no issues. Previous year also there is no change. So first answer we will see here. So as per section 10, his aggregate turnover in the preceding, it is not exceeding 1.5 crores and he is engaged in the supply of goods. So Mrs. Rajibir is engaged in the business of selling goods relating to interior decoration and his aggregate turnover 80 lakhs. That is, here it is given current financial year 80 lakhs. Expected only 130 lakhs. So previous year he is getting his turnover is 80 lakhs. So which is not exceeding 1.5 crores. So he is eligible for the composition scheme. Now the second question here is his son Karan wants to start business of providing services. So previously it was goods. Now his son wants to provide services relating to interior decoration after completing his PG course in interior decoration under the same firm with effect from the 1st April of the financial year and wants to enjoy the benefits of the composition scheme. Now we need to advise, suppose from the business of selling goods, now if he wants to change to services, so in that scenario whether still they can enjoy the benefit of the composition scheme or not, will say. So if his son wishes to start the business of providing services, he also now wants to join in that business. So now the firm name, they need to go for the earlier it was under the sole proprietorship of his father. Now son also wants to join, so they need to convert first that into a partnership firm. Further, the new GST registration they need to obtained. So second thing is, if it is going to be the services, then the firm can provide services relating to interior decoration up to 5 lakhs. So additionally, along with the selling of goods, they can add the services also, that services up to 5 lakhs. So how we are considering it is 5 lakhs? Because previous year turnover, now they converted into partnership firm. So the previous year the turnover is 0. So the 10% of 0 turnover or 5 lakhs, whichever is higher. So they can continue enjoying the benefit of composition scheme in the financial year. So there will be a questions like tricky, you are engaged in both selling of goods, later you are changing it to services. In that scenario, how you are going to consider the limits? So whether it is 1.5 crores or if it is services, what will be the limit? So I will so another example is there. Okay, this is related to restaurant services, simple one. We'll see how to solve this problem. So the question here is, examine whether the suppliers are eligible for composition levy under section 10 in the following cases. So I'm taking only a simple one. Siddharth and Sons, registered in Delhi, owns a restaurant, Tasty Foods, with a turnover 112 lakhs in the financial year 22-23. In view of growing customer demand, it will also start intrastate trading business also. So we should also see the place, because there will be the special category states and other states also will be there. So this is Delhi, so no problem here. So it is 1.5 crores, we know it. So the business is what? It is the Tasty Foods. They are owning a restaurant, that is Tasty Foods. The turnover is 112 lakhs. So in view of the growing customer demand, it will also start trading also. Even though they start the business of trading, their threshold, they are within the threshold limit of 1 crore 12 lakhs, which is less than 1.5 crores. So they are eligible to avail the benefit of composition scheme. So next one is, I'll see one more. This example, Technology Enterprises, registered in Jalandhar, Punjab. So first we have seen whether the state is a special category states. No. Then what type of service business they are doing? Manufacturing and supplying computer systems, selling of goods. Then its aggregate turnover is 125 lakhs. And the Technology Enterprises supplies computer systems manufactured within the state of Punjab. Then with a view to expand its business operations, also start providing repair services of computer systems. So initially with selling of goods, later they want to start the business of repairing services as well. So first one is with the goods means 125 lakhs. So it is within the threshold limit of 1.5 crores. So they are eligible to avail the benefit of composition scheme. So second thing is what they wanted to start the business of repairing services as well. So then how we need to calculate for the repairing services, to what is the limit for the repairing services they can provide. So they are the manufacturers and now they want to move on to the service business. If they start doing the service business, what is the limit? So in that case, so the turnover is 125 lakhs. So how we need to calculate? 10% of the turnover or 5 lakhs, whichever is higher. So when the technology enterprises start doing the business of services also, they can start the repairing services up to 12 lakh 50,000 they can do the repair services. So we know it. If it is a special category states, it is 75 lakhs. If it is other than special category, 1.5 crores. Then if it is the service related other than restaurant, it is 50 lakhs. And along with manufacturing, if the business wants to continue the services also, then we should calculate as per this formula, like 10% of the turnover in the preceding financial year or 5 lakhs, whichever is less. So any still not clear or what, or you are able to understand? Yes, sir. Composition scheme till last what I checked 7 marks it is. Compulsory it has come in all the previous year's question papers.
So we have to answer like this only?
Yes. States. No, this I have just mentioned for understanding only, but you can mention as per our, I can show you for this as well. One second. Yes. In that previous one. So you can refer our material final, even the final material questions also been asked. So it's still in presenting mode. It is a final material, sir. Because in our material there is only one problem. In final we have many problems, so it will give you more idea about this thing. No, if you refer our material, study material, I think only one problem is there, no sir? So after that there is no problem, but you refer the previous year question papers of our intermediate. There are so many questions from the composition scheme which is not similar to what is there in this material now. $60. So I think I'm not able to share here, sir, but you can see final one I have shared on groups, that teams one. So from our material, only one problem, you will not be able to very clear on that concepts. So that's why you can also see, but in teams I have shared final material questions. So now those who are on the call also can refer this screen, or you are able to see my screen, this final material only, no? Now you are able to see. 44, yes. So from only one problem in inter, you will not be able to understand much clear, but you can have a look from the final problems as well. It is very simple only. Ram and Co, trader of cell phones, registered under GST in the state of Tamil Nadu and furnished following information. So you have taxable goods, exempted goods, taxable services, exempted services, and you have interest earned on deposits or loans or advances. So what is the total here? And that what we needed to find, whether he is eligible for the composition scheme. So what here the only one thing which we needed to we should not consider is the, as per the definition of aggregate turnover, the interest earned on deposits or loans or advances will not be forming part of aggregate turnover. So the total is 138 lakhs. So he is eligible for the composition scheme. So next one, what it is asked, the value of service also. So we can see his services also. Trader of cell phones is there. Okay. So we are manually calculating again if he is doing the trading business as well. So trading business, that is sorry, not trading, service business. So even if he is doing the service business, we are considering the 5 lakhs and 3 lakhs, what is his services. So out of 8 lakhs, you need to divide by the aggregate turnover. So 10% of the, so it comes to 5.8% only his service percentage. So which is less than 10 percentage. So the interest, earned shall not be taken into account for determining the value of turnover it is given, or the 5 lakhs, whichever is higher. So he can still do the service business up to 13.8 lakhs, or you can do it straightly also, like your previous year turnover is 138 lakhs. That means 1 crore 38 lakhs. So on 1 crore 38 lakhs, 10% is 13.8 lakhs. So 13.8 lakhs or 5 lakhs, whichever is higher, he can do the business of service. So that's why here last line it is mentioned, the value of service up to 13.8 lakhs can be supplied by Ram and Co. So this is even we are the concepts are there in the inter itself. We don't have this type of problem. So if only if we able to solve this type of problems, will be more clear in the concept. So what is the aggregate turnover means? What are the supplies considered in the aggregate turnover? These types of questions are there. Today also I will share you in groups what is there in the recent December, last December. Because composition scheme is one question is compulsory, it is there.
Supplies and trying to start services.
Yes. Yes. Scenarios are there, yes. So next one more problem also I am sharing, sir, you can have a look on this problem also. So this is also from the final only, but if you see the questions, it's a very simple from the aggregate turnover perspective only. So the X is engaged in the manufacture of laptops, which is there in 5 factories. So Chennai, say Coimbatore, Madurai, the total is 151 crores. So directly we can't say this 151 crores which is exceeding the limit, because if you see the column, the previous year turnover rupees in lakhs, it is including GST of 18%. So you need to remove the effect of this GST of 18%. So that's why here they have given divided by 100, multiply by 100, divided by 118. So you will get the aggregate turnover as 128 lakhs. Now you can say he is eligible for the composition scheme. So those who are in a call, are you clear of this calculation? So you see here the 150 in the question itself directly given, it is including taxes at the rate of 18%, meaning this 151 lakhs is 118%. So we need to calculate for 100. So you will get the aggregate turnover 128 lakhs. Then you can confirm that he is eligible for the composition scheme.
Now we can answer simple problem for 7 marks.
In inter, yes. But sometimes what happens, no, sir, we think it is a simple problem and we may, last minute we may not revise also. So exam time, by luck, we may get this type of simple problems and easy to score. So if you see these questions, it is not required for final level also. This has been asked in the final also, but not as a 7 marks. In the MCQ type questions, 2 marks they will ask for. Yes, that is right. But some people make mistakes without seeing that 118%, sometimes directly seeing that 151 as an aggregate turnover, and they mention that he is not eligible for the composition scheme. Because the definition has to be clear for the students, yes. And if he does the inward supplies RCM basis, then also those supplies we should not consider in our aggregate turnover. So only the definition if and clear, then manual working time we will not consider it. So another. So if you those who are in call, any doubt, please let me know. If I am little bit fast today, or if you are still not clear on the concepts, I will share this examples or few examples additionally, so you will get some idea about it. And there is one more question also, so you can have this one. With this I will stop for today's session. The last one is because we need to advise our client whether he can go for composition scheme or whether as a normal scheme. So we need to find out whether which one is beneficial for our client. The Hotel Kings Private Limited, a registered person under GST. The previous year turnover is 100 lakhs. The GST is 18%. Input cost 7,80,000, excluding GST 18%, and the profit margin is 40% on cost. So now if you see these two scenarios, one is normal on the right side. So normal right side, if we want to calculate how much tax is payable to the government, that we need to find it first. The cost of inputs is 7,80,000 and the GST 18%. If it is a normal provision, it's not going to be his cost because we'll have his other this ITC and other things. So exclusive of GST. So normal terms GST will not add because we will take it as a ITC. So it is not our cost. So if you see the same against composition scheme, he is not eligible to avail the input tax credit. So it is a cost for him. So you can see both sides. So for an if I am not registered under composition scheme, I am going to take that as my input tax credit. So for a normal person, normal registration, it is not a cost. So there it is mentioned not cost. So the total cost is 7,80,000 and the profit margin they have given 40%. So profit is 3,12,000 on 7,80,000. Then GST 18%, which is payable 1,96,000. So the total invoice price is 12,88. So now what benefit we can see? Output tax, which is 1,96,000, we are dividing into SGST and CGST. Then we are considering less ITC. So ITC is which is 18% on 7,80,000. So that we are treating it as my input tax credit, which is 7,200. So finally, how much I am paying to the government? 28,050 and 28,050, which is 56,000 only. So again we are going back to a composition levy. So the total cost itself 9,20,000 and the profit margin is 40%. The invoice price 12 lakhs. So now though since he is a manufacturer, we need to see what is the service here. So he is a Hotel King Private Limited, a registered person. So what is the GST for the restaurant? It is a 5% GST is there. So 2.5%, 2.5%. So he will be paying to the government 64,000. So which is more beneficial for him? Whether register under normal or under composition scheme. So the GST, normal scheme, yes. Because he is not eligible to avail input tax credit. So that is the disadvantage for a person registered under composition scheme. He is not allowed to avail the input tax credit. Normal person profit margin, yes, sir. Because I purchase from some manufacturer, then I will add my margin also on the business. Then GST will be included, yes. Yes, yes, sir. So because even that marks is also more than that, no sir, we this understanding that concepts will be more clear when we doing a lot of problems, because this type of problems they should have included in the intermediate also. So more continuously if I teach a theory, so it will get bore. If I continuously talk about these services is exempted, this is the limit, that will not give more clarity also. Even the service related in the final material, for each and every services we have examples. Not for section 9 subsection 3, but for the exempted services. So I actually want to share that also, and I am not able to my PPT is not, I am not able to share this one actually. So
Theory to we can take last question paper to 2 years. What is the repeated or where they are focusing and comparison of advantages
last some 2-3 years question paper when I checked, no sir, it is about the introduction of GST related. So what are the benefits or advantages of GST is there, and this related person, distinct person definitions are there. This has been asked in these previous years.
section numbers are very important.
um,
Lot of section numbers and subsection and all.
One thing we can do is, no sir, like section 7 is for scope of supply, 8 is for composite. If we have that order, then it will not have at least for composition scheme, we know it is under section 10. You don't want to go for further subsections or these things. Under section 10 composition levy, that is fine.
My question is without mentioning the section we need to write our understanding.
Yes, for even final also, that section it will be very difficult to remember. It is not that much necessary to mention the section numbers. Even without sections also fine, but for the exempted services, that entry number is required. Yes, without entry number we can't move further in that exempted services. That is important there. But I will share some easy way where we can. I have actually added that, but I have not yet shared. I will add and share that.
Writing practice as per that requirement of institute section and answer like this repetitive thing. At least they will get something to
Sure, sir. That I will share in the groups also. But last time I have shared, I don't know anybody has seen or not as well. Hmm. Sure, sir. That I will check and I will update in our group also. What are the questions? No issues. Because today I know it. Because otherwise, levy and collection will still remaining. Then time of supply, place of supply, value of supply, and all. It is theoretical. Additionally, we have problems also. Though theory is there, immediately we have problems. You will not find that much tired or pressured like service related. Yes, we have problems there in valuation. We'll start in the next session. That is also coming in 7 marks. Sir. In customs, last chapter is valuation. Very simple only. Even final also we have that similar type of problems in final. So that one also 7 marks. If we focus composition scheme and this valuation problem, definitely we will have some 15 marks we can have in our hand. MCQs are there. That is from the time of supply, place of supply, very easy one. So today more on a theoretical work, but no option. We have to focus on the services as well. So those who are in call, please let me know if you have any clarifications, if you are stuck or where we need to focus, we'll do it. And thanks for joining today. And anything required, please send me message on WhatsApp our group. We'll connect it. Thank you all.